Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Ron Edwards American Experience Talk Show, where our unalienable rights are celebrated. And now, your radio refreshment, Ron Edwards.
Welcome to this, the Ron Edwards American Experience. I'm Ron Edwards, and again, welcome to this edition of the Ron Edwards American Experience. I'm Ron Edwards. Glad to be with you this day. My friends, not a happy day at all. We should be glad, but this is not a happy day. Russia's invaded Ukraine, according to recent reports. I'm reading something from the New York Post. And in our own hemisphere, you have tyranny breaking out big time as Trudeau's troopers crush the convoy or the protesters throughout Ottawa. We've seen videos of them being beaten while the big fat police officers get on television and say, well, they were violent and therefore we had to arm ourselves with batons and this, that, and the other. Those people were not violent. The only violence occurred is when the police officers showed up and started beating them. And one of the police officers slipped, and I think it might have been a slip of thought, because they were angry because those people were having a good time. He says, yeah, they were out there just dancing and having a good time. Because in the midst of misery sometime, that's one thing that proves that they were making progress. Because when your enemy is angry because you are having a good time in the middle of the fight, that says something, doesn't it? And see, while most of the media focuses you on their stand against the vax, that isn't even it is a major part of this standoff that has been going on in Ottawa, that should be going on in this country as well, and has been going on even truckers in Israel and Scotland and other places around the planet. The other thing they want to prevent is them being able to block your credit. What about credit transfers and a passport? Things of that nature. You don't get a shot, you can't move about. You can't operate your own money that you've earned electronically. So everyone from now on, I guess we all need to get paid under the table. Works for me. So these are the other issues. I mean, just at the top of the hour in the USA News, they only focused on the vax, and that's mainline. They don't really always get into the crux of the matter. I think the bigger issue, since 80% of the Ottawa people have already taken the jab, so it would behoove you to think that the trucks were there for other reasons beyond just being forced to take the vaccine, because most of the people have already taken it, and it's about the electronic blockade. And what did I see today? A couple of Canadian politicians said now, even if they go home, if they all were to just walk away and go home, they're still going to come after them and prosecute them because they participated in this. How dare they stand up for freedom and liberty? How dare they do that? But you know who I blame for all this happening? You know who I blame for the Russian invasion of Ukraine? I blame another entity more than I do Russia. I blame another entity more than I do Trudeau. I blame another entity more than I blame China, that's about ready to tap on Taiwan's front door and kick it in. You know who I blame? United States. The United States of America, which has allowed China to take over just about ownership of South America. The United States of America watched while China took over Africa. The United States of America, which allowed this Biden individual to have his regime, and watch him kiss the backside, lip lock on the backside of Xi Jinping. The United States of America, which stood idly by while Putin, who was not making that much of a friendly gesture towards China when Trump was in office, now has a signed agreement of cooperation with China. See, when you're supposed to be representing what is good and you're the most powerful entity, allegedly, and then all of a sudden, boom, you back off and you no longer oppose evil, what happens? Evil has a party. Evil does its thing. Kind of like the black community. They allowed the black community allowed the leftist white man to come in there and persuade the black woman to say, I don't need no man. And you see the conditions that have spiraled out of control since those days after the bastardized movement. They called it civil rights, but it was really bastardized rights because they're not based upon real unalienable rights which come from God. See, all of this fake stuff, whether it's bastardized rights in America, whether it's this tyranny that's breaking out in Canada, whether it's the invasion of Russia going into Ukraine, whether it's China knocking on the door of Taiwan, taking over South America. Years ago, when Jimmy Carter was in office, that's when this stuff started spinning out of control. When we stupidly gave up the Panama Canal because Panamanians were throwing bricks at us and demanding, because it was on in Panama, they demanded that we hand over the Panama Canal, and we did, stupidly. And I knew then. I was very young at the time, very young. But I understood then, because, see, we had good teachers. I understood that when you give up a main seagate, your nation starts to spin out of control. Began the same thing that happened to Great Britain in 1957 when they gave up Gibraltar. That's when they started unraveling. And no, it didn't happen overnight. I mean, it was a gradual trend. And now what is Great Britain? A second-tier military power. Still strong in her own right, but she's not a superpower. What do you think is happening to the United States? These things are gradual, and they just pick up momentum as the American people become more stupefied, more indoctrinated, more unpatriotic, less moral. Yep. See, when you're immoral, you have, it's replaced by immorality. Immorality leads to stupidity. Stupidity leads to lack of wisdom, or vice versa. Make bad decisions. Then you get to the point where in the United States government, they act as if evil decisions are what's good. And I was talking to my wife about this. I mean, I've said, and I've said this for a long time, there are other places that are still in this day and time much worse than the United States. But the United States is going to getting the spanking. And I kept thinking, and I've been talking about this over and over again, but there's something kind of different. Sin has taken over has invaded every facet of society, of every nation throughout the world. But the difference is, see, it used to be you just had evil doing its thing. But you had government at least looking like it's fighting against evil. You had this appearance of good versus evil. Now, today, what makes this a bit different is the entities that were supposed to be fighting evil have themselves become evil and are rising up to smash those who stand up for what's good. Perfect example is what happened in Finland recently. Government official mentioned sin. I don't know exactly, I forgot which topic she was talking about specifically, but sin, based upon what's in the Bible. And they want to lock her up. They want to just, they're telling her, you can't do this. And she's a government official. The rest of the government over there is saying, no, you can't say that. That is offensive. This is kind of new in history. With a government officially, anywhere, with a government officially saying something that is good, pointing out what is evil, that itself is now officially evil. See, that's a difference between political persuasion amongst the people, but when the government becomes like the ungoverned and puts its stamp of approval or stamp of power on evil, that's when you've turned a particular corner. And that's what's going on gradually in this country through the regime of Biden. I'm Ron Edwards. We're going to be coming right back after this very important break with an even more important special guest. His name is Tim Tapp. We'll be right back on this, the Ron Edwards American Experience.
Dabba, do.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth on the Ron Edwards American Experience. Constitutional Grounds, the hot air roasted coffee that produces a smoother, richer, healthier, and less acidic coffee. Our unique hot air roasted coffee has a most delicious taste everyone is raving about. Because you want the best, Constitutional Grounds is the coffee you want in your cup. Simply go to theronedwards.com and click on to the Constitutional Grounds coffee display to make your purchase, and to be sure to use the RE20 promo code, and you will receive a 20% discount. Remember, Constitutional Grounds, the coffee you want in your cup.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day, or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-826-5884. That's 800-826-5884.
Come on. You watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. Then if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you with the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Oh, good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do. And you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
800-908-6084. 800-908-6084. That's 800-908-6084.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth on the Ron Edwards American Experience.
Right here, right now. There is no other place I want to be. Right here, right now. Watching the world wake up from history.
Well, Mr. Putin of Russia mocks the United States media because it's a media of lunacy. He was mocking them because they were trying to predict the exact time the war will start. Putin is basically saying it'll start when I'm good and darn ready. And the invasion has begun, according to a couple of sources. And I really believe my guest will correct me if I'm wrong, but I really believe that if Donald Trump had been reinstalled as president of the United States, we would not be even having this discussion right now. I really believe that. We'd have oil coming in from Canada. We would not have had this trucker situation in Canada. Wouldn't have gotten this far. But here's the thing. I have one idea before we get to our guest. One idea for all the truckers. Do not be dismayed. Do not give up. Go home, take your trucks, and park them at home. Or park them in a public parking lot somewhere. Because the goal is to plug up the system and stop the deliveries so that the government will get your message. The government will find out, will be reminded as to how serious you are. And this has to happen in our country. You don't have to go to Washington, D.C. and get lied on by the media, get beaten up by the Capitol Police. Just don't go to work. Say you're done. In fact, say, I'm done. And stick to it. We're stockpiling. We're getting ready. Because the reason why I keep advocating for this is because, see, I have a long view, something that more Americans should have, by the way. And I'd rather go through the hardship now while we still have a structure and while we still have supplies and we can get things going right away under a free market economy once this thing is dealt with. But if we do not shut this tyranny down now and go through what it takes now, peacefully, for the most part, and we become totally socialized like they did in Venezuela, then we can't get it back. They'll destroy it, and it'll be much more difficult to get it back, which may be impossible. As the people in Venezuela, are they returning to liberty? No. China's taken over South America. That's because of U.S. weakness. Well, let's turn to our guest. His name is Tim Tapp, host of Tapp Into the Truth. Very good show, very intelligent show. It's a thinking man's talk show host, in my opinion. Welcome, Tim, to the Ron Edwards American Experience.
Well, as always, sir, thank you so very much for the invitation. I greatly appreciate it. It's a joy and it's an honor to speak with you and your fine audience.
Thank you so much. Hey, what did you think about, I don't know if you heard what I was saying, about how this stuff has gotten ramped up, and I believe that a lot of what I've been talking about since I cracked the microphone at the top of the hour or just after the news, I believe a lot of this stuff would not be going on if Trump had been installed in office. I can guarantee you that they would not have had a written, signed agreement between Putin and Xi Jinping, because it's not like the Russians and the Chinese loved each other anyway. And they have different goals. China is globalist. Russia is not. Under Putin is not. The people in Russia are very free. In fact, right now, more free than we are in the United States. And the people in China have no freedom. There are strategic and monetary and other differences between Russia and China, though they're both, ironically, communist. What say you?
Well, first of all, I think you're right. This coal agreement that just was announced a little while ago probably wouldn't have happened. There would have been cheaper, more readily available sources, and chances are we would probably be doing more to help prop up one of our enemies on the world stage. But at least somebody here would have made a little penny and they wouldn't be aligned. You're also very much correct when your assessment about how different they are. Vladimir Putin has these dreams of grandeur of one day rebuilding the former Soviet Union. I think that's the extent of his ambitions at the moment. I don't think he sees going much beyond that. That, of course, changes the more successful you might get. And there's no question China, for a very long time, well before the days of Xi Jinping, believed that they were eventually going to rule the world. It's only a matter of time, and they continue to work towards that goal, and they do not care who has to die or be killed in the process to get there. And they don't even hide that fact. They're very open at world events. They're very open about their intentions, what they're planning on doing. China, I think, is the far bigger threat. But I also think, and I kind of mentioned this on my show earlier today, that I'm very much convinced that Joe Biden not only keeps predicting an invasion, but he wants an invasion. He wants it to be far more than what a lot of us were expecting early on, that being the fact that he wants a lot of things to happen in Kiev because he wants any remaining evidence of his crime family's involvement with the previous Ukrainian administration to be destroyed and lost, because he's afraid that the next Republican president is going to open the door to some investigations, and there's some Bidens that could be in some serious trouble if that would happen.
Man, I think you're right about that, but Biden, you know, he may be onto something, and it's a nice train of thought for him. But here's the other thing, though, that he may not be thinking about. This invasion, this avoidable invasion of Ukraine, is another stain on his record, on Biden's record, on Kamala's record, because she put herself into it, selling a wolf ticket. You know, if this happens, there's going to be great consequences. I mean, who in the hell is her? I mean, really? She has about as much authority on the world stage as, let me look around here, as my almost empty water bottle. That's how much impact Kamala has on the world stage. Okay? So she doesn't matter. But
Ron, she did get to check off one more thing on her bucket list. Because remember, her excuse for not going to our southern border was that she hadn't been to Europe yet. So that's done. We can now send her to the southern border.
Yeah, there you go. And, you know, I would like to send her... no, I better not say that. I was going to say I'd like to send her to the southern border and just have her walk to the border in a certain area. What now?
I said she could keep walking. We'd all be good. It'd be fine.
Yeah. But things would happen to her, I think, because, you know, in certain areas where that's controlled by the cartels. But anyway, and really, and you know something? If something like that happened, I wouldn't feel sorry for her, because she and Biden has caused the rape of America, has caused the literal rape of the United States of America. And because of this administration, you may soon witness the rape of one of our true allies, Taiwan, which used to be Siam. And if that happens, my friend, the United States is done. We're done as far as credibility, because this administration does not have the moral, forget the physical or the mental fortitude to combat evil. They don't have the moral backbone, because they're in agreement philosophically with Trudeau. They're in agreement. The American government, as it stands today, Tim, is just as evil as Xi Jinping's government, maybe more so. Definitely more evil than Putin's government. Just as crooked as Ukraine. Just as horrible as Iran, in my opinion. Because philosophically, they are all tied together. Now, there are variances, of course. There's the Islamic terrorism and everything out of Iran. But when you get down to the bottom line when it comes to the rights of individuals, when it comes to economic freedom and liberty and religious liberty, they're all the same. This administration that is currently in place is no more in favor of religious liberty than Xi Jinping. And in fact, the Biden administration is much more against religious liberty than Putin is. And I can prove that to you in 30 seconds. But I'm going off this way because I just want the people to understand how bad of a situation has been unleashed upon this world because of the ineptitude. No, it's not even inept. Because of the purposeful, focused route of evil that the United States government has chosen to take with Nasty Pelosi and all Schumer, all of these famous evil characters who represent nothing but death and destruction of morality, of our rights, of our economy, of our position in the world as a great nation, while they at the same time strengthen and lip lock on the asses of our enemies. What say you?
Well, I think back to your point about a black stain on the Biden administration. At this point, does that even matter? Is there going to be any way they could possibly rebound and claim a victory? The only people that are behind them are the sycophants, the folks that do not care, the folks that are engaged. But you're absolutely right. Under the Biden administration, under the Obama administration, under certain aspects of the W administration, we saw the United States government do things that are in clear violation of the principles that this nation was built on. The idea that these are agents of evil that are acting on behalf of evil, it's not a far-fetched extremist idea. It is the reality on the ground. I can't possibly agree with you more, even if I wanted to find a way to do so, because you are absolutely right. We are seeing a directed effort, a concerted effort to go about not only trying to tear down all of freedom-loving people around the world, but to try and make all things that are good look like that's what's evil. An effort to disrupt children's learning and behavior. We've even seen the CDC today is foreshadowing a report that's supposed to come out officially on Monday, where they're changing the expectations for children's developmental speech. Why? To make it okay to keep people masked. This is all part of the same concerted effort to destroy the American experiment in liberty and to destroy the concept, the very notion, the idea that you have a right to be free as an individual.
Absolutely. You made such a fine point there, Tim. We're going to leave it right there as we head to break on this, the Ron Edwards American Experience.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth on the Ron Edwards American Experience. Constitutional Grounds, the hot air roasted coffee that produces a smoother, richer, healthier, and less acidic coffee. Our unique hot air roasted coffee has a most delicious taste that everyone is raving about. Because you want the best, Constitutional Grounds is the coffee you want in your cup. Simply go to theronedwards.com and click on to the Constitutional Grounds coffee display to make your purchase, and to be sure to use the RE20 promo code and you will receive a 20% discount. Remember, Constitutional Grounds, the coffee you want in your cup.
You're listening to the K-Star Talk Radio Network, broadcasting truth around the world.
How will history reflect upon the massive truck driver freedom blockade in Canada and the United States? LOI or Ron Edwards? On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, brought to you by Constitutional Grounds Coffee. For more months than I can remember, I have been telling my fantastic audience members on my popular talk show, The Ron Edwards American Experience, and anyone else who would listen, that we the people must massively rise up and push back vigorously against the tyrannical toads in government who seek to control our lives. Also against the government indoctrination system that seeks to continue making dullards out of generations of Americans, and the Obamacare-dominated medical care system, which is proven to be more poisonous than beneficial. My friends, the trucker freedom fighters have set the tone and have shown through their brave effort that we can turn the tide and win back our God-given unalienable rights. But we must follow their bold effort with an even greater measure of resolve to not let up until victory is assured and sustained. Then I believe that history will look back favorably on we, the refounding fathers of this sweet land of liberty. I'm Ron Edwards. For Constitutional Grounds Coffee, simply go to BlueRidgeCoffeeCrafters.com.
Ron Edwards, the new voice of America.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
800-430-6715. That's 800-430-6715.
The Ron Edwards American Experience, the talk show that celebrates America and reminds everyone she's worth fighting for. Join me, host Ron Edwards, and also don't miss a daily page from the Edwards Notebook Commentary, right here on
K-Star Talk Radio Network.
Liberty Works Radio Network.
The last frequency.
Ron Edwards, the new voice of America.
Well, it may not sound like it, but I am enjoying myself this day. For this is the day the Lord has made, and I shall be glad in it, no matter what the Biden regime is doing. Before we get back in the conversation, hello, Tim, and I just wanted you to tell folks how to get to your website and how they can get to your wonderful show.
Well, again, thank you, sir. And for those of you that are so inclined, allow me to extend the invitation. Come visit me over at Tapp Into the Truth. That's TAPP Into the Truth, all one word, .com. There you can see everything that I'm up to. Lots of cool stuff on the homepage. And there is a page dedicated to previous broadcasts so that you can determine where you would most prefer to listen to archive shows and to pick up upcoming broadcasts as well. So that's the quickest, easiest way. Come visit me over at tappintothetruth.com.
Thank you so much, Tim. You know, Tim, something else, it was brought to my attention, my astute attention here. Let me pull it up real quick. I had it and then it just went away. Let's see here real quick. I hate to be this way. I'm going to probably have to hold it. But, you know, we're talking about what's going on with Mother Russia and all that, and the potential. I don't think it's potential anymore. I think it's just imminent that China's going to invade Taiwan. They're going to get away with doing as much as they can until we get a real American president back in office again. We've got to get rid of these fools like Lloyd Austin, these individuals who are just misleading our military. And that is what is also very troubling to me, because even, let's say we get a great president in next time around, well, we're going to be coming from such a deficit if these guys have their way, because they're doing so many things in so many areas, including the military, to boy, I know this isn't a very intelligent term, but to debuild the United States of America, to decouple our republic from good working principles to make us totally vulnerable, whether it's, we're already vulnerable again when it comes to energy. But in every facet of life, they're making us more and more vulnerable. They're poking the bear. They're on one hand, they're provoking our enemies, while at the same time weakening us to a level not seen since maybe the Carter years. And I am not exaggerating, sir. What say you?
I say what we're seeing is a combination of global elitists who have this wonderful plan called the Great Reset, and they're trying to institute it. We have a number of true believers who have bought into the falsehoods of socialism/communism, true believers who bought into extremisms of the Islamic variety. We've seen all this this perfect storm, if you will. The idea is to tear down the United States because when she's gone, there is no remaining vestige of liberty, and any remaining ideas of Western civilization will fall quickly after that. But it is about tearing us down. We saw it accelerated under Barack Obama. We've seen nothing but a continuation of the Obama administration under Operation Pea Pads and Knee Pads, which is my affectionate nickname for the Biden-Harris administration. I'll let you decide which is which. I think most people know and know why. But we also see a time coming where folks that have typically voted for Democrats are starting to wake up to the reality of how much they've been lied to and how much these people are unapologetic for having lied, so that we see things like this past Monday, Justin Trudeau basically pronouncing himself Emperor of Canada and waiting a mere 5 days before bringing the crackdown on the protesters and getting to the point where he sent in the police and batons were used and pepper spray was used and rubber bullets were used, and a rebel media reporter was assaulted by the police. They shot her with a rubber bullet for the terrible crime of being there to report on what was actually happening on the ground. This is all about control, and it's all about the destruction of the idea of liberty. It's the same thing we were talking about earlier, but we see it in motion with so many different moving pieces, and it's because they've grown impatient. And if we continue to raise our voices, they're going to continue to be desperate because they really thought they had passed the tipping point. They really thought that once Barack Obama legitimately won that first election, that it was done. The last vestige of freedom and liberty were willing to vote for a person who said we're going to fundamentally change what is still, even now under her current state of distress, the greatest nation on the planet. And if you're willing to sign off voluntarily to do that, there's no reason why they shouldn't have believed they were past the tipping point. What they're finding out now is they're not quite there, but now comes the part where they start really trying to crack down on us, trying to silence us for good. And we're just going to have to stand even stronger and stand together and be prepared to engage in civil disobedience and engage in the idea that our voices are worth being heard no matter what the consequences may be, because it's going to get real scary for a lot of us real soon, Ron. But, I have faith in the Lord and I have faith in my friends like you. I believe I'll not be standing alone. And at the end of the day, whether I stand or fall, I believe the premise will win the day. I believe good will win out. And I just have to continue to believe that, and I hope others will join me.
Well, I'd like about 200 million Americans to stand up and at one time, because a few thousand here and a few thousand there, it'll make nice news, and we'll be proud of them and salute them. But we need 200 million Americans. We need at least 30 million Canadians. We need at least 25 million of the Great British population. That's nearly half of Great Britain. We need huge, unmanageable amounts of individuals to stand for liberty around this world, because there is no, at this present time, the United States may return to being that, land of liberty that stands for liberty around the world. But right now, there is no superpower to come rescue and fight against tyranny, especially now that this federal government in D.C. is part of the official tyranny movement around the world. Hey, Tim, what do you think about this? Ottawa mayor wants to sell confiscated Freedom Convoy trucks. Ottawa Mayor Jim Watson has praised the police crackdown on the anti-mandate Freedom Convoy protesters in the Canadian capital. See, and I was watching some of these people. In fact, I'm looking at the video of this long-headed guy now, and they have such a smug proudness about them. And they're just filled with this pride. No mention, not one smidgen of evidence that they care about what the people want, what the people legally want in Canada. The only thing they cared about is that they want to shut this down, and they want the people to take whatever they decide to ram down their throats or the other orifice. I mean, this is just terrible, Tim. What say you?
Again, you're right. Terrible is every bit the proper descriptive, and yet it feels like it falls far, far short. We're seeing the idea of them keeping that stuff because, again, these are leftists, globalist leftists to boot. So they firmly believe, they honestly believe, each and every one of them, no matter what country you find them in, that everything belongs to them and we should just shut up and be happy they let us keep anything. They really believe that. We see that demonstrated with their ideologies about taxation and their ideologies involving, in this case, confiscation of private property. And it is mind-boggling to think that our friends in Canada have let themselves fall so far down this rabbit hole without standing up much sooner. But we can't really point a finger and start throwing stones at them because we've done the same thing here. We've had alarmist voices. We've had people that have been crying out into the wilderness, and we keep being called conspiracy theorists or oddballs or extremist kooks, and we are belittled and shunned and told to sit down and shut up because, in America, we don't like that kind of thing, which is actually the opposite of what we were built on. We do need those millions and millions of people to stand up worldwide, like you were saying. But it's not surprising to hear the Ottawa mayor. It's not surprising to hear the interim Ottawa police chief come out and say, yes, we are documenting people that we've found who may have just been standing around to see what all the hoopla was, didn't actively engage, but got a little too close to it, that they're coming after them too. They're going to be investigating. They're going to be freezing their bank accounts and taking away their crypto and everything they can to try and destroy these people personally and professionally. It's not surprising. It's not shocking. It's very disappointing and very disheartening because a decade ago, this would have never stood. A decade ago.
Absolutely.
And we've been going down this road a while. But to sit here and say that this is what would be happening today, if you'd said this 10 years ago, even I would have scratched my head and said, no, we won't let it go that far. We'll stand up before then. Boy, do I hate being wrong.
Well, that's the thing, Tim. We can never say that anymore. That we won't let things get this far, because whenever you say that, it seems like it opens the door to the other side saying, "Oh yeah." We have to redevelop or develop rather the will to fight against evil on all fronts. Instead of hundreds of parents in each state fussing and fighting against the evil government school employees, that's what they are, the hirelings who want to ruin the minds of young Americans, it should be thousands in each meeting across the country. Thousands and thousands. There needs to be 10 times as many people as there are police officers in each city. Because in most cases, they want to go after legal people and harm us, and they want us to shut up and no longer fight for our God-given rights. Well, Tim, I want to thank you for joining me on this edition of the Ron Edwards American Experience. We look forward to being together next time. And I'm sorry about missing your show today, but I'm sure it was still a great show anyway. Doesn't need me on there to be great, but I look forward to being on your show as well. And until next time, keep fighting, keep praying, and keep being willing to stand for liberty, sir.
Thank you, sir. I will do my part as best I can. Thank you for having me on your show, and thank you for all you do. And we will hook up together again soon. Thank you much.
Absolutely. Take care. There he goes, Tim Tapp, and there I go, because it's break time.
Ron Edwards, the new voice of America.
Constitutional Grounds, the hot air roasted coffee that produces a smoother, richer, healthier, and less acidic coffee. Our unique hot air roasted coffee has a most delicious taste that everyone is raving about. Because you want the best, Constitutional Grounds is the coffee you want in your cup. Simply go to theronedwards.com and click on to the Constitutional Grounds coffee display to make your purchase, and to be sure to use the RE20 promo code, and you will receive a 20% discount. Remember, Constitutional Grounds, the coffee you want in your cup.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day, or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free, and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-826-5884. That's 800-826-5884.
Attention timeshare owners. Are you dissatisfied with your timeshare? Tired of the financial burden? Were you misled by the salesperson? Don't want or can't use your timeshare anymore? Then you may qualify for timeshare cancellation. Timeshare Defense Attorneys is the #1 affordable fixed fee legal solution in the country with an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Our experienced lawyers will evaluate your case, and if we take you on as a client, we will work on your case until it's solved in your favor. That's our 100% satisfaction guarantee. One of our lawyers will keep you informed in the process, all while protecting your rights, interest, and even your credit. Get the relief you need now from the burden of your timeshare. Call now for a free consultation, and don't forget to ask about our stimulus discount program.
Call 800-492-8151. That's 800-492-8151.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth on the Ron Edwards American Experience.
Never give in, never give up, never stop the fight for liberty, for that's what we are alive for. We live to serve our God, to leave a legacy for those coming behind us, to build a greater nation, and to stand for liberty, truth, and justice for all. Well, one who doesn't stand for truth and liberty at all is Michigan Governor Whitmer. Because of her severe lockdowns and other machinations that had nothing to do with preventing the spread of coronavirus or helping to medicate people or improving the quality of health, had nothing to do with it, those lockdowns. But what they did do, which was also the goal of Democrats and Rhino Republicans, there's an area in the city of Detroit called Greektown. And it's a couple of blocks full of mostly Greek restaurants and things of that nature, and pizza restaurants. And some of these restaurants have been in business for, longer than I've been alive. And I ain't going to tell you how old I am. But they've been in business a very long time. One of them is Pizza Papalis I used to go there when I first moved to the city, and I'd go to Greetown and all of that. And at that time, it was one of the few nice areas you could even go to in the downtown area. And good stuff, good food. And they had been in business, family-owned shop. They had been in business, like I said, for a very long time. Well, because of the coronavirus lockdowns, they couldn't survive. And so the business died. All because of that prideful Witchmer. These prideful, leftist-oriented government officials who have used the coronavirus situation to abuse business owners. By the way, 40% of small businesses have been lost, maybe permanently, in this republic. Turn mobocracy. We can get them back lickety-split because that's the nature of we the people. But we've got to reestablish liberty in this country. We've got to knock off this cloak, this dark cloak of tyranny. Well, this just recently came in today. A clinical trial regional director filed a $2 billion lawsuit against Pfizer Corporation and BioNTech, alleging the pharmaceutical companies both fabricated and falsified their coronavirus vaccine trial data, making things look a little better than they really were. Very interesting indeed. Well, the lawsuit was filed on January 8th, and it was opened today. Yeah, folks, see, things like this one at a time, one drop at a time. And this each drop at a time that we're getting in our favor is going to produce an ocean of liberty, a huge ocean of liberty. Well, the United States has officially said that Americans in Russia are told to prepare to flee the country without help from the United States. They're not going to get any help from the embassy. Now, this is crazy. Russia has invaded places before. We didn't close our embassies. We should not close our embassy in Ukraine. We should not close our embassy that I'm looking at here in Russia. Russia invading Ukraine is no reason to shut our embassies. We cannot continue to allow this Biden administration to close our offices, our outposts of influence around the world. We must not. You need to contact your representatives tomorrow as many times as possible and let your representatives know that we don't appreciate this. You know, our involvement in this world is based a lot on strategy. And if you don't even have a presence, you have nothing to have strategy with. And I understand the mentality of the Biden administration. They don't give a rip about this country. But that's okay. I do. You do. We do. And we shall overcome. I'm Ron Edwards. My time is up so much. I thank you for your time.